Hello, everybody. This is the anti-natalist, and it is a very hot day. I'm super tired from the heat, and I was a bit dehydrated. I went hours and hours not having anything to eat and drink yesterday, and by the time I realized that I was hungry or thirsty, it was too late. I was just, took a sip of water and went to bed, and I was so fatigued. But this product is delicious. Now, they call it an energy drink, but I find that it doesn't work me up and get me agitated like caffeine. And I've been intolerant to caffeine in the past, but I get this at Target. And this flavor is absolutely delicious. It reminds me of a great popsicle. But anyway, my video is going to be about regrets and avoiding regrets and preparing against regrets. And also, I'm going to document a form of child abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse that my mother inflicted on me. And I've done this quite frequently, I think, over the 9 years that I have been on YouTube. My first channel, Child Free Diane, and then this one. And as I recall the abuses, I document them. And it's very cathartic for me to talk about the ways in which, harm was inflicted on me. Over and above being born. Being born is being harmed. But, so, when you decide to do something in life, you have to measure and balance whether you are going to regret that action in your life, right? So, if you wanted to rob a bank, let's say you really needed some money, and you wanted to rob a bank, you have to weigh the consequences, don't you? Hey, pretty girl. And, if you go to school for one trade against another, you have to decide, well, am I going to come out ahead? Am I going to regret being a mechanic? Or am I going to regret being a teacher? Or am I going to regret going into the military? Or am I going to regret being an artist? So, there's these checks and balances, and, we all have to account for our choices, which leads me to a choice that you could make in your life that you could be highly regretful of, and that is having a child. When you have a child, you impact somebody else's life. The regret of not having a child seems quite shallow to me. You can always raise a child, you can mentor a child, you can teach a child, you can foster, you can adopt, you can volunteer in many entities involving children or animals or wildlife or rehabilitated and rescued farm animals even. But regretting having children is a long withstanding deep regret, and you won't be able to resolve it with yourself, with your child, and your child may go on to create a grandchildren, which, if you had the chance, you probably could encourage your own children not to have children. And when you're a parent, you can see generational harms. You can see generational illnesses inflict future generations. You can see psychological traits, restored in each generation that passes on. And I personally don't know anybody who regrets not having children. In my whole life, I don't think I've encountered anybody who's discussed that, because there's so many other options to spend your time on. There's even nieces and nephews, and even your cousins who have children. You can devote your lives to them. There's no shortage of need in this world. So if you are looking to satisfy needs in the world or mentor, there's just thousands of opportunities, millions and billions of opportunities. And population is over 8 billion right now. And if you really sincerely want to mentor or have a child, there are just ways to do that. There are communities of people who are seeking help. There's a lot of incarcerated parents right now, and their children are either in foster care or, they could use mentoring. And I'm sure they would love a Christmas gift, or, just being taken out to the mall, or being appreciated and validated. So the alternative to regretting not having children is regretting having a child or children and possibly abusing them. And abuse is very common. Psychological, sexual, physical, mental, emotional. Abuse is very widespread, and it's not going to end. My mom was my primary abuser, biological mom. And I will say that my stepmother was very disrespectful, hateful, and abusive, but she didn't shape me because I didn't know her until I was 14. But I'm going to document an abuse that's quite unforgivable, and my mom did to me after she got separated from my dad. And excuse my tiredness. If I look like I'm just wiped out or stoned, I'm not. I don't smoke. I don't get high. But I'm just literally, fatigued and worn out and spent just doing too many things, and just any exposure to heat and humidity really tires me. And plus, I'm older. But anyway, I was about 14, and my mom had a rental house, and we would visit her on the weekend. My dad had primary custody, and we went to the school that we had always been in, and that really helped preserve, some of our, scholastic continuity and scholastic, friends, connections, sanctity. It really helped preserve some of our peace while our parents were going through a very bitter divorce and custody battle. So, when I was around 12-ish, I had really bad stuttering. And I was extremely shy as a child. I was petrified with having to speak up in class, or just having my name called, roll call, was excruciatingly painful. I just felt like, I'm just on the spotlight. I just felt, you know, I don't know if anybody ever felt that way. Like when they call your name, you just feel like you're kind of like threatened. I don't know, like fight or flight syndrome, but I don't know where that comes from. And so I developed the stuttering habit, really, really bad stuttering habit. And I remember there's this one time, and I was trying to say the word cow. And I was, I was going like, and I could not spit the word out. And I had these tics and stuttering, and my mom was in this rental house, and I remember where she was, and I remember where I was in this house, and she shamed me, not particularly in front of my brother on purpose, mostly to embarrass me, but she said, Diane, I want to tape record you, just to show you how you sound. And I could not have been more humiliated. But it wasn't the first time. It was one of many times that she said something or did something that was just, crucified my self-esteem. There's even more, but that's, for another video. I don't want to bore my audiences, and it's already 11 minutes. But I really think my mom was a regretful mom. I think that she probably thought that she had no choice but to have kids because of society's influence and expectations, religious expectations, and probably more than not, her husband's expectations. I have no doubt that she wanted a baby. I have no doubt that she cared for us as babies. But whether she wanted to devote her entire 20s and 30s to raising children, that she didn't want. She had me, she was pregnant with me when she was 20. 20, yeah. I know. She didn't go to college. Spent her youth raising kids. And I'm sure she went through the motions, the diaperings, the feedings, all that. But she wasn't a person to mentor. She wasn't a person to care about her child's futures. She wasn't a person to save for her children or to prepare her children for life. She just prepared us for heaven. What a fucking joke. What a joke. Oh boy. Yeah. She put us into church 3 times a week. 2 or 3 times a week. Yeah, she was happy when she was at church. That's the opioid for the masses. Religion. She was all about church, so she made sure we were in church. So we were, forced religion, and that was shoved down our throats, and it didn't help one bit. I wish she had encouraged us to, to read some, Mark Twain or Arthur Schopenhauer, or to have invested in, some kind of hobby or a trade. I wish she had done something for us that was, hey, baby, I wish she had done something that was productive and had value, not putting us in Bible school, Sunday school, church choir. I mean, it was a pastime, only pastime we had, really. But, you could be a regretful mom, just like my mom, and you could abuse your children, and abuse is generational. You don't get rid of abuses in a generation. You just don't. You might think you are, but you're not. You're just carrying on the same abuse. You're just flipping it. You're just, like some parent who has a child, they may have been abused in their youth, and they may do the opposite of what their parents did. Doing the opposite is still being controlled by your parents and by your abuses. So there's no way to overcome generational abuses. And I run a Facebook group. It's called My Shitty Parents. And I don't maintain the group too much anymore. It kind of maintains itself. And interestingly, a lot of people who come there and who are members are parents. And one day, their children are going to be members of My Shitty Parents, because you can't get rid of abuses, because humanity is flawed, and humanity is imperfect, and humanity is selfish, and for that reason, you shouldn't have kids. Nobody should have kids. Nobody is without personality or mental defects. Zero. And nobody is without physical illnesses. And those are all going to impact your children. So it's far better to regret not having kids, if that's even a thing, than to regret having kids. Because those children that you had were pawns. And they were sacrificed. Sacrificed to an imperfect, cursed world. Thank you for watching this far. And any comments, any replies about your own family are much welcome on my page. And feel free to join My Shitty Parents. There's a lot of people that complain about their biological families or their nuclear families, the people that raised them, step-parents. My step-parents sucked. Oh boy, did they suck. I'm so glad that they weren't my biological parents. It probably would sucked even more. But my parents should never have had children. They should not have had children, nor should they have been parents, especially my mom. So anyway, checking out here, guys. So I gotta get some sleep. I'm just so tired. Thanks for visiting my channel.